Last year, my friend from Boy Scouts told me a story that still gives me chills. When he was younger, he lived in Colorado with his brother and parents in an old, remote house deep in the Rockies. The house, built in the 1950s, was about 10 miles down a gravel road from the nearest neighbor and relatively close to Vail, Colorado. His parents had bought the property in 2015 from a redneck from Arkansas, who had owned it since 1987. The area was originally a mining town, with a big lake in front of the house and a river flowing behind it, details that become important later. At the time, my friend Kai was only 7 years old. On their first night in the house, his parents ate some brownies and were completely knocked out by 9 p.m. Kai and his brother Loki were still awake. Curious about the eerie silence outside, Kai looked out the window. At first, he saw nothing unusual, just the lake and the river. But then, in the distance by the river, he spotted a silhouette. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen, a strange combination of a goat, a human, and a deer. Terrified, Kai ran to tell Loki, who took one look and bolted to their parents' room, screaming. But their parents were out cold and couldn't be woken. Kai calmed Loki down and convinced him to sleep in the kitchen, which had no windows. After Loki fell asleep, Kai looked outside again. The figure was still there, standing in the same position. Thinking it might be a tree, he watched carefully, until it started moving. It walked through the river, heading toward the house. As it got closer, Kai got a better look. It had the legs of a goat, a human-like chest covered in goat hair, human arms, and a goat's head, with deer antlers that were red and pulsating like beating hearts. Terrified, Kai hid in a moving box that had a couch inside, hoping the creature wouldn't find him. After a few minutes, he decided to make another attempt to wake his parents, but they still wouldn't budge. He looked out the window again and saw nothing. Unsure of what to do, Kai made a pallet of blankets next to Loki in the kitchen and tried to fall asleep. Just as he was calming down, he heard a loud bang outside, coming from the makeshift dumpster the previous owner had built. The trash can, which weighed as much as a minivan, had been slammed. There was a window facing the trash can, but Kai was too scared to look. Instead, he curled up in his blanket pile, crying himself to sleep. The next morning, after a sleepless night, Kai told his parents what had happened. They laughed it off, but as they stepped outside to head to the store, they saw the trash can. Whatever they saw must have been enough to scare them, because they grabbed the kids, their belongings, and left the house immediately. Kai told this story to a group of us sitting around a campfire in Texas. He was shaking as he spoke, and we were all on edge. Later, some of us decided to recreate the scene in the woods at night. Let me tell you, watching a shadowy figure walk toward you through a creek, even just for fun, is nothing short of terrifying. For more bizarre stories, please follow, like, share, and subscribe.